Today, I'm going to talk about how to clean a piece before you flip it or make it over, prep it. The cleaning process is probably one of the most important parts of the flipping process, because if you don't clean it properly, the entire makeover and then your end result is not going to look great, and it's not going to keep up and last. So you definitely, this is a part that you do not want to skip. And it's something, when I started doing this just for our home in the beginning, when this journey started for me, it's something I didn't know was so important. And you don't know until you get into so many projects and they're not working and paint's not sticking and what's going on. You learn the hard way, but definitely this is part of the process. No matter how clean you think a piece is, this is part of the process that you cannot skip. So I get a lot of questions about what to use for cleaning. And just like I'll say with every part of any furniture flipping process, every piece is going to be different, look different, act different, make over different, need different things. So it's not always a one size fits all. But I have rescued pieces from barns and, old sheds and garages where they were just really full of dust and dirt, and, they might have some stuff caked on it. And there are times, depending on the piece and what it is, that I have literally had to just hose them down. I would definitely recommend that you don't want to really douse, a piece of wood furniture in a lot of water, or let it sit with a lot of water for a long time. You want it to dry quickly, but for most pieces that you aren't pulling out of a barn or an old shed, the cleaning process is pretty straightforward. So what you will need is obviously a cleaner. So this can sometimes just be water, vinegar and water. This has thieves cleaner in it, but just any clean vinegar and water will go a long way. So I would recommend using that just in a spray bottle. There are some other cleaners on the market that if you needed to get, if it needed some just extra cleaning or something, you could definitely get. But for most pieces, vinegar and water, it goes a long way. So just start with that when you are cleaning. And then you definitely need, I would usually use a thicker kind of rag, but this one's white. So I wanted to kind of show you the dirt that will come off. But any kind of rag you have, old rags. This is an old tea cloth towel that I just cut up. And then you could get things like old toothbrushes to get into nooks and crannies, because when you're painting or staining, depending on what you're doing, and you get the paint or stain in the nooks and crannies, if it's full of dirt or dust, that paint or that stain or whatever, it's not going to stick. And so you definitely need to get into those areas. And another thing that is good to have near you, and I'm not going to do this today, I'm just going to kind of talk about the process, is a shop vac or a vacuum, just because when you clean it, it's good to take the drawers out if it has drawers. If there's maybe some cabinet doors on your piece, you can get into the nooks and crannies with like in the corners and things with your shop vac. And sometimes you will see, and I can show you over here, you will get a piece that's got cobwebs, things like that, extra dust that just come along with it, that you will want to get out. So for me, the cleaning process, it's a really rainy day today. So I'm doing all of this makeover in my office, but that's all right. This one, somebody lined with, I'm sure it's contact paper. And whenever I find this, I am always so happy, because it usually, I would say 90% of the time, especially in these older pieces, when I pull it off, it is completely protected. You can see what I'm doing. Protected the drawer. So I'm always grateful for people that used to line their drawers. And so obviously I'm taking that out. And then you are left with, obviously, the drawer. So when you are inside the drawers, I don't paint the insides of drawers or like the sides of drawers usually. I have done that a handful of times, but most of the time I don't. but I do like to use a salve inside the drawers just to kind of freshen them up. So I will do that that's like at the way end, the last process of the makeover. But so I do want to clean the insides of the drawers as well. But I just wanted to kind of show you, I mean, this is, it's not hard to do. It's just, you need to take the time to get into all of those areas and touch every surface. Oh, look at this. They even put like cardboard. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. In the front of this drawer to protect that. Well, I've never seen that before, but I'm not complaining. So you can spray it on your rag or, you know, right on the surface because you're not dousing it. But you want to get every little angle. So, you know, the sides of the drawers, the back of the drawers. You know, if you're not touching those, like I will with the salve, but you definitely just want a clean piece when you go to sell it. So the buyer doesn't have to worry about any of that. So what I wanted to kind of show with this is, I will not like clean the whole thing here, but inside here, you know, when you take out the drawers, you can clean the insides, the sides, just give it a really good cleaning. Most of these pieces, especially these older ones, have not been cleaned in a long, long time. So one thing, I'm going to kind of move the camera closer to me here. Okay. One thing is, like, the top of this doesn't look that bad from a distance or even close to it. It doesn't look like it's that dirty, but you will be amazed by how much, I'm gonna grab another cloth here, how much will come off even when you think it's not that dirty. So I just kind of want to show you this. Look at that. Like, it was dirty and you want to get all of this off. So, most of the time you are going to be scuff sanding or sanding your pieces before you paint them or stain them or finish them. And so even for, like, the sanding will do some extra cleaning, but you just don't want to gunk up your sandpaper with dirt and dust and all of that. So just this cleaning also helps with that sanding process, that initial kind of scuff sand that you'll be doing. So that was just the top of this piece. That didn't, like, just to like the naked eye, it didn't look dirty at all per se, but it definitely is. So even if you think, oh, it's not that bad, take the time to wash it because trust me, it's dirty. And even if it's not like necessarily dirt, it's dusty. So you just want to get all of that dust, cobwebs if there's cobwebs, in every little nook and cranny. If you don't have an old toothbrush, you know, you can always use things like, let me grab one here, like even a pair of scissors or, and kind of just, you want to wrap it good because you obviously don't want to scratch the surface, but kind of just wrap your cloth around it and then get in those areas. The end of a small paintbrush, a pen, this was just near me, so you don't want to scratch the surface though. So use something else that's, you know, that can kind of get in there if you don't have an old toothbrush, in those little nooks and crannies, because the paint will, especially if you can't get in there and sand it, the paint will just sit on the top of that dirt or dust or whatever. So then if it ever does eventually move, the dirt or dust, it will not be painted in that area. So you don't want that. So just take the time to really clean out the piece and clean every surface and underneath and the back and all of that. And then take your shop vac you know, inside, when you take all the drawers out, inside and all the way to the back, you want to definitely do that with your shop vac. Same with all the drawers. So inside the drawers, you want to get back to every nook and cranny, but then make sure you take it out. And then you want to, you know, get your shop vac or your vacuum, whatever you're using, all the way back there, all up on the top and all the way around. You want to make sure you're, you know, any of the dust, just excess dust, maybe there's a cobweb, something in there, you want to clean that all off. Before you clean the fronts of any drawers that may have hardware, remove the hardware. Especially in older pieces like this hardware, if it's been on here for a while, it's unbelievable what is actually stuck around here. When you take this hardware off, you will definitely be able to see it, but it's kind of like gunks up around the hardware. So sometimes I will actually have to even use like a paint scraper to get that gunk off first and then clean it really well. So you definitely need to remove the hardware before you clean the fronts of any drawers, cabinet doors, anything like that. You definitely want to do that. And then as far as down here with, you know, if you've got a lot of detail or curves in your legs, you want to get around, you see what I'm doing this, okay. You want to get around all of those curves. You want to, again, if you've got a toothbrush, that's even better. Even use a Q-tip. Those are really good to have as well for furniture cleaning. And but you want to make sure you get in between every little line of every curve, because you don't want the paint sitting on top of dust or dirt, because then it'll eventually rub off or, you know, fall off because it's not stuck to the actual piece. So yeah, anything that's got, there are lines here. I don't know if you can see that, probably not, but there's kind of some detail indentation, 3 of them here on each side. Take a Q-tip in there, get it with, you know, your vinegar and water, and get it wet, and then get inside there and really, really clean it. So every inch of it needs to be cleaned off. This is part of the process. Trust me, I have learned the hard way. You do not want to skip this step, because it's going to make all the difference in the makeover and the outcome in the end. So a really good cleaning. It's not that it has to take you 4 hours. I'm not saying that, but just make sure you kind of have a little bucket of supplies. Those things will help, like the toothbrush, the Q-tips, you know, a vinegar and water, and then your like a shop vac, a vacuum. You want to make sure and take out the hardware, so a screwdriver, a drill, those kinds of things, and rags. You need a lot of rags. But and even if you think it doesn't look dirty, it is dirty or dusty. So wipe off every part, every surface, and get in every little nook and cranny, and then the process will go a lot more smoothly and the outcome will be so much better.